Some regional chairpersons of the Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools are on the verge of closing down schools if the government fails to provide food supplies. The association served a notice to the Ministry of Education after it failed to meet a 2-week emergency food supply deadline to provide the schools with food and money.
According to the head of these schools, students will be sent home until enough food and money are made available to the schools. The problem, which is threatening to affect teaching and learning, is also starting to cause a stir among students in some schools. The regional chairman of SHS said they had relied on support from parent associations to feed students, breaching the free SHS policy, which does not allow parents to contribute to running the schools. The issue of food shortage is not new, but the government has often denied the problem. In a letter cited by Metro News, the headmistress of the Avatime Senior High School in the Volta region, Rebecca Mawusi-Veni, said she would have no option but to ask students to feed themselves should the challenge remain unresolved. At the Alavanyo Senior High Technical School in the Volta region, the headmaster of the school, Reverend Samuel Pius, told the regional Free SHS Secretariat that students were no longer given lunch due to the alarming situation the school found itself in. The Volta regional chairman of SHS told national executives of SHS that all other SHS in the region were faced with similar or more challenges. In the Ashanti region, the SHS chairman has told the National Executive Committee that heads of senior high schools have asked Regional Director of Education for an indefinite break until a solution is found. The situation is similar in several other schools across the country. The dire situation, according to Conference of Heads of Assisted Secondary Schools, will be topical at the ongoing annual conference at Koforidua in the Eastern region.
Right, so let's take you through one of the letters from one of the secondary schools in this country. And this is the food situation at Avatime Senior High School. And it says management wants to report with urgency the food situation in Avatime Senior High School. The school's store, as of now, is having only 4 bags of maize, 2 bags of sugar, and few tin tomatoes. Virtually, there will be no food from next week going. This unfortunate situation has been reported to the Regional Buffer Stock Coordinator and other officers. That matters, but the situation has remained the same. Director and Board of Directors, please, I seek your permission for the students to buy their own food come next week if nothing is done about the food situation. Thank you, Headmistress of Avatime Senior High School. Right, so we'll be speaking to 2 people for their opinion on this particular subject. But in the meantime, some students of the Tamale Senior High School have been speaking about the ordeal. Take a look.
To be frank, the food situation in Tamale Senior High School is now it's not good at all because now there is shortage of food. We don't eat to our satisfaction. And whenever we go inside, sometimes we don't even get enough food. Sometimes we don't even get food at all, which makes us not have enough energy because when there's energy, there's the ability to learn. But now that the food has now gone down, we are finding it difficult in this school right now. So we urge for help so that the food can come so that we can get it and have our energy back.
I'll be very unhappy if it happens that schools are closed down because of food issue. And then also, I think closing of the schools because of the food issue would have been something that will help with the students. But if you look at the side effect, it's very dangerous. So I would suggest that government should initiate some measures to control the way we take our food so that school could continue. In fact, if you look at the way we take our food in school is very bad this time around, because at first we used to take our food on time in good quantity, and then also uh, very nutritious, but now everything has changed.
Let's have a conversation on the back of this, and I've been joined by Gapson Kofi Raphael, who is the Acting General Secretary of the National Council of Parent-Teacher Association, and also Kofi Asare, who is the Executive Director of Africa Education Watch. Gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the show. Gapson, let me start with you. Has the issue of acute food shortage in senior high schools come to your notice?
Good evening. And then let me, Metro TV, and let me say good evening to your cherished listeners. I think that this is not news. This is just something that, excuse my language, government has always tried to hide and try to pretend and behave like an ostrich over issues that are so glaring that we as parents, government is beginning to behave more callous than we, the parents. They begin to create the impression they love our children more than us. They begin to create the impression they can run the school system without the involvement of PTAs, without the involvement of other stakeholders in the community. And this is what we see when we allow government to do things that it hasn't gotten the powers to do it without involving other stakeholders. The advertisement that you are mentioning, is it the name of government or is it the name of a community? It's not the name of a community. Now, that community is in the limelight. No government's name is being mentioned currently, even though we are associating it that government has not been able to supply schools. But the community that is being mentioned is Abetime. The community has a role to play. And it is those whose walls are in the school, they will feel the heat and they can play that role better in complementing government effort to augment the food supply situation in the schools. PTAs are there as autonomous, non-governmental organizations to assist and facilitate, to augment whatever government is doing to make sure that the school system run effectively. That is why in account balance, they say that awesome body no kodu, because we don't know what tomorrow holds for us. So if government becomes anti-PTA, government policies are fighting parents from assisting their wards in school, and hence will write letters telling parents that they should assist, that the students will find food. Whose children are in the school? As a parent, I can't sleep today.
Right.
Listening to the things that are going on, we are not sleeping. And when you try to help, government creates the impression that it is doing it. It can do it. The full situation even tells you clearly that the free SHS has gone nosedive. And it is currently even under review. Whether they pretend that it is true or not, it is being reviewed. Because the children are not getting 3 rations of food meals a day. Sometimes they get 1 square proper meal. Look at the children at the school complain that the quality of the food is not the best. The quantity is nothing to write home about. What are we doing to ourselves as a country?
Right.
We think that it is high time we all sit up, and parents must hold government accountable that if anything happens to our children in the school, we and the government, they will not find it easy with us.
Right.
They will not find it easy with us. They are trying to even change the name of PTAs and make a parent association. Who told them it's a parent association? It's a parent-teacher association. We said that we have a relationship with the teachers. Because anything that happens to our children in the school, when we take our children to the school, we hand them over to teachers to manage the children for us within a period.
Right.
And when that thing, if anything happens, they should give us feedback. So if we are trying to collapse that bridge, how do we collaborate?
Right. Gapson, kindly hold on. I'll come back to you. Let me go to Kofi Asare with the Africa Education Watch. Kofi, I believe you can hear me. Welcome to Newsnight. I mean, these issues have been raised. Does it go to say that the free senior high school policy has been a failure? Because the Parent-Teacher Association executive is saying that government is preventing the PTA from supplying food to the children. So is that really to say that it has failed, but government is failing to admit that it has failed?
No, far from that. It doesn't mean the policy has failed. Every policy has challenges. And so the free senior high school is no exception. The difference between the free senior high school and other policies is that government continues to deny that there are severe funding challenges when everybody else is aware. But it doesn't mean the policy has failed. It means that we are still managing the policy with emotions. And as I keep saying, emotions don't manage or sustain a policy. In June, the Minister of Education held a briefing and indicated that they were taking steps to clear the debt. That was when the Ministry of Education for the first time admitted that the shortage of food was due to a debt. The debt was then about 300 million Ghana cedis, owed suppliers. As we speak, the debt has increased to about 470 million Ghana cedis. You see, there's a saying in policy, social policy management, that you can't do the same thing, or you can't initiate the same action over and over again and expect different results than the prior results. So that's what we are doing. We haven't done anything different. We are owing suppliers. There's no money to pay suppliers. We have severe liquidity challenges. And now we have adopted an ambulance service approach in managing the situation, where when we get small money from Ministry of Finance, we engage new suppliers to supply the schools where old suppliers have already been contracted to supply food. But because we are owing them, we use new ones to go and supply with the little money we have. And the debt for those new ones too, we are now beginning to owe them. So it has become a debt value chain. Now we are getting to 500 million Ghana cedis. We are now at about 470 million Ghana cedis. So we haven't solved the problem. We are just scratching the surface, managing symptoms, and praying that a miracle happens. So that's it.
Right.
We are doing the same thing. We are expecting a different result. It will happen. The policy is not a failure. It is actually a good policy, but our approach in implementing the policy has been one of self-denial, like where things are not going too well. We keep denying that any challenge exists. We are seeing schools where lunch is a problem. The other letter you read indicated that they are not serving lunch. But if you raise the issue, the Ministry of Education will say it is not the case. And so we leave it to the judgment of the people who are supposed to be the beneficiaries of the policy in the schools you mentioned. But so far as we are concerned,
right,
we have to take a second look about financing the free senior high school program, especially the feeding program. That this discussion will be a recurrent discussion. We are never going to stop having it.
Right. Kofi, thank you for talking to me this evening, and also thank you to Gapson.